unsteady cam.
Yeah, I'm alright to crack on, to be honest.
Time yourself. What? We're going 3 hours then?
3 hours, yeah.
Haven't had a chance to speak yet, so here we go. Not ideal conditions, I think we're all agreed.
Perfect.
Really frustrating weather forecast, because when we've been planning this, it's been saying all along it's going to be not amazing but bright and not bad, and I thought at least we're going to get some views. Well, sadly completely wrong. In fact, the minute we set off, the clouds set in, and you've seen it already up to this point. It's been pretty horrendous, and I'm guessing it's quite steep, and I'm going to just start following the boys, because otherwise I'll lose them, because the conditions really are pretty poor. Yeah, it's frustrating, it really is. You know, it's like when I went up to Scarfell, you sort of feel fantastic, great fun, enjoyable, but how much better it would be if we had a view. I was hoping to see Anglesey. No chance. Never mind. We're here, and I am, believe it or not, enjoying it. We're out, that's what it's all about. I'll speak to you in a bit. It's quite a big down over there, actually.
Because he worked for one of the road 231. That's what I want. That's a hidey hole, isn't it? To a bit of wall. Must be there for sheep or something.
Yeah.
Snuggle down there, you get to.
In a blizzard with a tarp.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Imagine if this was snowing.
Nice. So, remember at Scarfell, I had a couple of moments where I said to you that I was out of the comfort zone. Well, I've just had it again. You can't even see it. We were following the path. We had a bit of a stop, a bit of a drink, and then headed off. And we got to a very precarious, steep part of where the path said to go. Thankfully, these two lads were sensible enough to realise that it's very slippery and quite precarious and ultimately quite dangerous. So we chose another route. It's good down, that is.
Fair amount down.
There's lots of down round here. There's a fair old drop just here. You don't want to be going down there. So I'm going that way. Go and catch up with these two mountain goats. Oh, tell me we're not going up again. camera do the looking, and I'll just look where I'm walking, I think. I'm not even sure if the audio is going to work on this, because everything, including the camera and the media mod on my GoPro 8, is completely drenched, so I'm just talking for the hell of it and hope this comes out. We reached the end of Nantlle Ridge, or however you pronounce it. The weather has been relentless, literally relentless. So we are completely just all soaked to the bone. We've had some quite hairy climbs, scrambles I should say, not climbs, but even so for me utterly terrifying, but it's been great. We are going to look back on this and say that was brilliant, but I have to say we're all like drowned rats now. We were very close to calling it quits and just walking down, and then we've got a mate of a mate that lives locally that will come and pick us up, but we've relented. We've dropped down off the ridge, looked for somewhere as basically sheltered and flat as we can. It's not ideal, but it's the first actual view I've seen pretty much all day apart from when we arrived. But I'm going to go and strip off and just attempt to get dry. What an experience. Morning. Just the classic, not a trace, and we'll just do a little walk through. So Simon was there, I was here, Matt was here. Crikey, yeah, you were on a bit of a slope there, Matt. No wonder you were going. As ever, golden rule, adhere to, not a trace. It's the next day, so I've got my lovely 3-hour sleep head on. No change there. It's a chance to reflect. Yeah, unbelievable. I mean, categorically the worst impossible conditions yesterday. Unbelievably just awful, really. We were completely drenched. I defy anyone that says, you know, expensive waterproof gear is going to keep you dry. Quite literally, we were all drenched through to the skin. Yeah, wow, those, I really, at the comfort zone that I keep going on about, me out of, definitely. God, I was terrified, I've got to be honest with you. Just catch Simon and Matt coming down. Matt was just derobing a bit, because the saving grace is it's not cold, it's nice and mild, but at the end of the day it is July. So I mean, we're cutting it short. We were gonna carry on around, follow these tracks and carry on and do Snowdon today, but we've all seen the forecast and it's just going to slowly deteriorate as the day goes on. So I think yesterday's excursion plus the wild camp, we're going to call it a day. We sort of came around there, unsurprisingly you can't see because it's all in cloud again, but a bit like Scarfell, I'm just going to have to come back. I'm going to have to come back another time when the weather's decent. Just typical UK, you just cannot rely on the weather. And the irony being, the weather's been absolutely gorgeous everywhere else in the UK. It just seems that the Snowdonia mountain range yesterday was blooming awful. So the plan is we're just going to wait for a bus. It's a bus due in about half an hour. So it's picking up here from Rideau, no idea how to pronounce it, but pleasant place to wait for a bus, and facilities that are open, which is always good when you've just been wild camping, if you know what I mean. Take full advantage of the facilities. Quite a picturesque little station, really. Yeah, it's a shame really. It would have been nice obviously to continue on and go and do Snowdon, because I still actually haven't done Snowdon. But you know, you can just see it's coming over. We had enough of being wet yesterday, if I'm brutally honest, so we've decided to call it a day. So I find myself, after quite an experience, in the market again for a couple more things, which really pleased my wife. One, sadly, a sleeping bag. Not happy about that. I just kind of rolled over and heard a pop. Didn't think anything of it, and then the next minute I just remember thinking something I was thinking there was midges in my tent, so I was really worried actually. So I turned my light on, my nice bright light, and there was just what transpires to be down, just floating around everywhere. I got absolutely covered. It got in my throat. I was coughing. Oh, nightmare. So consequently I spent the whole night with the sleeping bag rolled down to where the split was, which I thought, God, I'm going to get cold, but thankfully it really was not too bad at all. Like I said earlier, it's not that cold. And the actual tent, I'm so chuffed. And also with the soloist, I managed to put it up in the rain, and someone did ask me before and I wasn't sure. I did get the footprint down and the outer sheet first, and then hang the inner. So that is doable, which I'm really pleased about. The trouble was I was soaking wet. I managed to keep it all dry, but then the minute I got in with my rucksack, it's just water was everywhere. But yeah, no, it's doable. It's good to know for future reference. So the $1,000,000 question, how did I get on with the 4 class? Chuffed to bits, genuinely. It's been absolutely brilliant. It's performed really well. Obviously it's a very good test for the rain cover, because as you saw, conditions were blooming awful, but the rain cover did its job, kept everything nice and dry inside the bag. Yeah, you saw me packing it. It was handy accessing the stuff. As I said, I knew that would be a benefit, and it really was when I'm in the cramped confinement of a small one-man tent, just being able to get at stuff easily without having to take everything out of my bag. So that was really good to have as well. Hello, Lara. Lara's pleased to see me. I've just this minute got back, so hence the normal post-wild camp tired look. Like I say, I never sleep particularly well, but yeah, what a brilliant trip. I mean, word of the trip, wet. And then you can see what I didn't show you was, you might have seen this from my bike packing videos. This is what I use on the bike for, basically I just call this my electronics bag, and this is where I keep all my electronics equipment, funnily enough. So things like my Insta360, my GoPros. I've used 2 GoPros, so it's 2 lots of spare batteries. There is quite a lot. People think, well, can't you just fit them in somewhere in your bag? I probably could, but to be honest, I do like to have a separate bag, and I just secured this. You would have seen it on the video anyway, where I secured it. That worked really well. Trouble is, this got absolutely drenched, so I've got to look at having perhaps wet bags inside to keep everything nice and dry. But yeah, anyway, what a trip. It's been brilliant. Glad to be home. I'm going to go and have a nice shower now, sort everything out. Look at this, absolutely soaked. Even my boots wringing wet, unbelievable. So need to get all this dried out. But anyway, once again, thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.